Hello students, in the continuation of our third chapter, the motions of the earth, rotation and revolution, today I am going to teach you about revolution. The annual movement of the earth in its orbit around the sun is an anti-clockwise direction, that is from west to east, is called the revolution of the earth. What is the duration of this revolution? The period taken by the earth to complete one revolution around the sun is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes and 45 seconds, or we can say 365 and 1/4 days. This is said to be 1 year. Now we'll know about the effects of the revolution. The equinoxes and the solstices are the positions of the earth with respect to the sun on the given fixed day. They help us to understand how seasons occur, how they are reversed in their northern and southern hemispheres. When it is summer in northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere. The duration of day and night varies according to the seasons. As a result of these variations, seasons are not the same in all parts of the earth. In general, there are 4 seasons. These are spring, summer, autumn and winter. These 4 seasons generally correspond to the maximum position dates, solstice and equinox of spring 21st March and summer 21st June, autumn 23rd September and winter 22nd December in the northern hemisphere. Solstice, it literally means the standing still of the sun. The tropics are the limits of the sun's movement to the north and south of the equator. Between the tropics, the sun's rays are vertical. Beyond the tropics, the sun's rays are inclined. Equinoxes means equal days and nights when the sun is overhead at the equator. There is an equal distribution of days and nights on the surface of the earth. Solstice on June 21st, the earth is in the position when the north pole is tilted towards the sun. On this day, the sun is overhead at the Tropic of Cancer. This day is known as the summer solstice. The southern hemisphere, however, is tilted away from the sun and experiences winter. On 22nd December, the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, while the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. This day is known as the winter solstice. It is summer in the southern hemisphere and winter in the northern hemisphere. Equinoxes. On these 2 days in a year, the sun shines vertically over the equator at an angle of 90 degrees. This angle decreases as one moves away from the equator. These days are 21st March, spring or vernal equinoxes, and at the equinoxes the days and nights are of equal length throughout the world. On March 21st, it is spring in the northern hemisphere, and on September 23 it is autumn. This position is reversed in the southern hemisphere. At the 2 equinoxes, the sun is at 90 degrees at the equator. As one moves away from the equator, the altitude of the sun decreases. When the apparent northward movement of the sun continues up to June 21st, summer solstice. There are variations in the duration of the daylight. Perihelion and aphelion positions. The Earth's orbit is the path along which the Earth travels around the sun. The path is elliptical in shape. Due to this elliptical orbit of the Earth, the distance between the Earth and sun varies. When the Earth is closer to the sun, the position is called perihelion, and when it is farthest, the position is called aphelion. At aphelion, the distance of the Sun is 152 million kilometer, while as it closest at the perihelion, the Earth is 147.3 million kilometer away from the Sun. Owing to the elliptical orbit, the minimum distance of the Earth from the Sun is reached on or about January 3rd every year. It is winter in the northern hemisphere when the axis is tilted away from the Sun. While the tilt makes the northern hemisphere cool in winter, its comparative nearness to the Sun helps to make the southern hemisphere warm in summer. On January 3rd, the Earth in its orbit is closest to the Sun. The time of the Earth is said to be perihelion. On about 4th July, the Earth is farthest from the Sun. At this time, the Earth is said to be aphelion. Next is creation of three heat zones, or we can say variation in the distribution of solar energy. The amount of heat that a place received on Earth depends on the angle at which the sun rays reach it. The more vertical the sun rays, the hotter will be the place. This is because the amount of heat in the direct vertical rays is concentrated on a small area, whereas the same amount of heat is spread over a large area. In case of oblique rays, there are three heat zones. We will discuss about it. This is the creation of the heat zones. The spherical shape of the Earth along with its movement around the Sun causes the difference in the angles at which the sun rays fall on the Earth's surface. This causes difference in the distribution of heat on the Earth's surface. As a result, the world has been divided into these three distinct heat zones, or we can say the temperate zones. The first is torrid zone. This zone stretches between 23.5 degree north. This is the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. 0 degree equator, 23.5 degree north. As it lies in the upper part, northern hemisphere, so we can write N here, and 23.5 degree south latitudes, and more or less receive the vertical rays of the sun. As a result, this region experiences moderately warm climate throughout the year. This area is known as the torrid zone as it receives the vertical rays of the sun. Next is the temperate zone in between the torrid and the frigid zone. Frigid zone and the torrid zone, it is in between, in northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. It is between the 23.5 degree north, 23.5 degree north and south, and 66.5 degree north and south. It lies the temperate zone. In this zone, the sun rays fall obliquely and hence the region experiences a moderate climate. It is neither too hot nor too cold. Moderate type of climate we find this temperate zone. Next is the frigid zone. This zone extends from the 66.5 degree north to 90 degree. 90 degree, that is the north pole and the south pole. Extended from the 66.5 degree north to 90 degree north pole, or 66.5 degree south to 90 degree south, or we can say south pole. Since the sun rays fall extremely obliquely in this region, the region experiences extremely cold climate. The varying lengths of daylight in different latitudes. This is a table. With the help of this table, we can understand the varying length of the daylight at different latitudes. It is evident from the table that the duration of daylight is 12 hours throughout the year. At the equator only, as one moves away from the equator, the seasonal variation in the duration of daylight increase. The seasonal variation in the duration of daylight are maximum at the polar region. So with this we will also, with the help of the diagram, will know vertical rays give more heat energy than the slanting rays. So with this our chapter is over here. Take care. Bye bye.